Hi, Periscopers. Hi, y'all. How you doing today? I am excited to talk to you about a topic that is kind of stressful for some people to talk about, money. And this time of year, I hear from my clients quite often that they need more money. They're worried about money. I don't know if y'all think you need more money, or if you're worried about money, or if you feel like you don't have enough money, or if you're frustrated because of money, or if you and your spouse fight over finances. I don't know if this is going to be relevant to you or not, but this is a big deal that a thing that I'm dealing with in my office a lot right now with my clients. And it is not unusual for couples to fight about money. It's not unusual for parents and children to fight about money. So money can be a topic that is very contentious. So I'll introduce myself and thank y'all for joining me. Hi, Mom. I'm Trina Titus Lozano, and I'm a counselor and ordained Christian minister. And I'm not at all a money expert, but I do have a great story to tell you from the Bible about money. And I do deal with a lot of people that are worried quite often, worried all the time. Hi, Sade, about money. And so oftentimes what people think is the answer is if they had more money, then they wouldn't have to worry about money anymore. And actually, the opposite is true. If you were more generous, and if you learn to be content with what you have, if you learn to be a person that shares things, that shares what you have, then it takes away the worry. See, whoever you are now is who you're going to be when you have money. So if you spend more than you have now, y'all add zeros to the end of your paycheck, you'll have the same problem, you'll have the same worries. In fact, maybe even, oh, thanks, Cecily, I'm still working on that, but I'm going to show all my Periscopers sometime this week about my Christmas decorations. Thanks for noticing, and thanks for joining me. And Cecily, I'm going to give you a shout out right now. I had a client call me this week and say that she's desperate, okay? She doesn't have a place to live. She and her boyfriend broke up, and she had been living with him, okay? So she moved in with a friend, been sleeping on a couch with a friend, and now that relationship has gone sour. So she's a college student, and she texted me and said, do you know anybody in San Diego that would open their home to me, or that would have a guest room that I could rent? So I called a couple people that I know. I don't know a lot of people in San Diego, but my daughter lived there for 3 years. And so, hi, Brittany, if you're watching on the replay. And so I called Cecily, who Periscopes with us, and you guys know her through Periscope if you don't know her in reality. And I called Cecily, and Cecily immediately said, you know what? I think I could do that. Let me try to work out the details, because my kids could share a room. My kids could share a room, and that would create a guest room in our home, and I could offer a room to this girl that wants to change her life, this girl that wants to get out of a bad situation and move into a healthy environment. Y'all, sharing is something that is not natural, okay? This is something that from the time our kids are very little, we have to teach them to share. But what I see happening is that as children grow up and become teenagers, very often they get this entitlement mentality. And a lot of times parents will actually contribute to this, because parents don't want to share, okay? When parents don't want to share, they have kids that don't want to share. You know, when you tell your kids when they're little to share, they might obey you, but when they grow up, they'll do what you do. You won't share your clothes with them. My mom always shared her clothes with me, which is so sweet. See, I grew up this way. I grew up being taught how to be generous, which has nothing to do with money. I grew up knowing, but you know what, Cecily? It's not the point if it all works out. The point is that you were willing to share. Not saying that you know, well, I'm not sure. What about all the sacrifice that we're going to have to make? Yeah, sharing's a little bit of a sacrifice, but you know what, Cecily? It's a joy, and I loved your attitude that you're willing to share. You know, in the world that we live in today, people can click a button, and that means share. Share this with your friends. In fact, you guys could share my Periscope right now with other people and invite them to follow. But listen, real sharing means that I take what I have and I give it to you. In other words, everything that I have is not for me to consume. It's not about me consuming. Hi, Megan. Welcome. It's not about me consuming. It's about what I have. Why? To share. It's all about sharing. And sharing for real is really the key to joy. People who don't share, people who are greedy and really hoard things, they are your worriers, and literally no amount of money will fix that. You will never, ever have enough. You know, it's interesting because when you see panhandlers on the street, when you see people begging for money, you know, sometimes I think, I wonder if they've ever given anything away. And y'all, having an attitude of gratitude, having an attitude of generosity, this is what you want to be. This has to do with your identity, not your situation, your identity. Are you a taker? Or are you a giver? Are you just a random act of kindness giver? Are you a frequent giver? Or are you a rare giver? Do you only give? Oh, hey, Kelly, I'm glad you like this. Do you only give when there's an offering taken and someone is asking you to give? Do you only give at Christmas time? Do you only give on holidays and birthdays? Do you only give situationally or occasionally, or do you have a constant attitude of giving what you have, giving everything that you have? That's right, a lifestyle of giving, a lifestyle of generosity, a lifestyle of sharing. Because why is everything that comes to you, is it just for your consumption? Is it just for your consumption, or is there more to this? Jesus tells a parable in the Bible, and we can learn so much from the Bible. And if y'all are not Bible readers, get out your Bible or Google it. Go on your iPhones or your smartphones or something and read the red letters. My Bible's a red letter edition, which I like that. That means that's the words that Jesus was talking, so it's highlighted in the Bible with red letters, which is fun. And I love the parable in Luke 12. In Luke 12, he tells this story, okay? So I don't know if y'all mind a little story time today on my Periscope, but I have to read this Bible story because this Bible story is of, okay, bye, Mom. See y'all. Safe travels, and you can catch the rest of this on the replay, okay? The parable of the rich fool. So you guys, a parable means that Jesus made up the story to teach a point, okay? Here's the point that he said. Beware, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you own. So y'all, Jesus doesn't measure your life by how much you own. I just got to warn you. Don't measure your value based on how much you own, based on how much money you're making, which provides you to own a nicer car, a bigger house, designer handbags, a nicer truck, a nicer suit, a custom this, a custom that, a designer this, a designer that. Y'all, then why do people worry so much? If more money is the answer, then people with a lot of money who are rich and famous would be happy, and they're not. It is never the answer. But so easily people fall into this trap. Well, here's the story, okay? Here's the story. A rich man, now I'm reading straight out of the Bible. Okay, I know it's story time, so y'all bear with me. Hey, just set your phone down and just listen here for a minute. But if you're actually watching me, then give me some hearts while you're looking at the screen, because I like those hearts. Just tap, 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 tap. Okay, so here's the story. A rich man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops. He said to himself, what should I do? I don't have room for all my crops. So then he said, I know, I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have room enough to store all of my wheat and other goods. And then I'll sit back and say to myself, my friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. So take it easy, eat, drink, and be merry. In other words, he could retire, okay? But God said to him, you fool, because you will die probably this very night. Then who will get all these things that you've worked for? Yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but to not have a rich relationship with God. You know, when we've got a rich relationship with God, nothing can ever be taken away from us. And we know that our needs are always going to be provided for. And we get the privilege and the fun of giving. So what is the point of gathering all this stuff like he did in this story He gathers it all so he can retire. And that seems to be like the great American dream, right? So we have this great American dream that we gather all the stuff so that we can consume it, and then we can, and then we can eventually retire and then die, and then everybody else has to deal with stuff, right? So you just heard this. Good. This is a great message. I think that God is giving this message to a lot of people. This is a great Bible story, and this is so well worth reading. And hopefully it's a message that a lot of people are going to be preaching about or talking about right now, because we get so easily sucked into this time of being greedy. And then when it comes New Year's time, y'all, or even this Christmas time, we can tend to have a lot of self-doubt, like, oh, if I wish I had more. If I had more, I'd be happier. Then I could give more. I want more so I can give more. Y'all, if you have more, if you're not giving now, guess what? You're not going to give when you have more either, because it's not who you are. You're not generous. But just like this Bible story, he had a successful year. Okay, a very successful year. But you want a successful year, right? You're praying for success. Okay, so you want a successful year, but why? Ask yourself why, so you can share. I hope that's the reason. I hope that's the reason for you to consume, for you to have more success, isn't for you to just consume more, because it's the blessing is in the sharing of it, okay? So not just to build bigger barns, to build bigger crops. If your family makes over $49,000, you're on the top 1% of wage earners in the world. That's right, Cecily. And you know, it is amazing whenever we travel worldwide, and my parents have done so much of this, they see people all over the world who don't have worries like some people that are here in America that worry about finances. And how many of you make more money right now today, exactly, make more money right now today than you made 5 years ago, than you made 10 years ago? So now you've made more, but are you spending more? Are you still in debt? Are you still overspending? Y'all, what kind of car do you have? Share it. What kind of home do you have? Share it. You know, think about what you can have and what you can use, and be generous. Live a generous life. Live a generous life. And that is really birthed out of gratitude, because people who are grateful are generous, and people who are generous are grateful, knowing that at any point, these things can be passed away. At any point, we're really not the owners. We're just the managers, aren't we? Really, you don't have the power to make yourself successful, right? We're not the owners of anything. And even any of our stuff, it can be taken away just like that. My friend Victoria, I hope you're watching on the replay. My friend Victoria, she lost everything. She and her family lost everything in a fire. Her house burned down, and they lost everything while they were on Christmas vacation in California. So they were with their grandparents, with her parents in California. The kids are visiting their grandparents. They are trying to have Christmas, and their house gets torched. It is vandalized, and it's torched, and everything is gone. So my husband ran over to their house. We took pictures. We helped them with the insurance company. I helped a little bit with the cleanup. Y'all, talk about a mess. Yeah, but it's a healthy thing to just think about, we could lose everything in a minute. But you know, when we have a relationship with God, then there is no worst case scenario. There isn't, because we have an understanding. We're just managers of it anyway. In fact, think about, what is your disposable income? How much money do you actually dispose of? Think about if you actually had a savings account. Andy Stanley mentioned this in his Crazy Like Us series recently. This is a great series. If you haven't heard it, it's so excellent talking about this. A disposable income. Think if you had in a savings account 5 years worth of the money that you wasted. The money that you wasted. Think about that. How much money would that be? And then think about if all that money that was wasted, you had to give away. You weren't allowed to use it, but you had to give it away. You know, you would have so much joy giving it away, man. You'd be writing checks to everybody, right? You would just be passing out $100 bills. Why? Because the joy of giving, when it wasn't mine anyway, it was money that was wasted anyway. It was my disposable income anyway. So, but you would just enjoy the giving. But y'all, we need to be thinking about this. Listen, it's so fun to give. If we don't give, it's really a waste anyway. What is the point of making money, of having a home, of having cars, of having anything if we're not willing to share it? I had a garage sale about a month ago for all of you faithful Periscope followers. You remember me having this garage sale. And honestly, I invited tons of people to just come and have anything that they wanted. I just thought, you know what? If it's stuff that I don't need in my house and I really don't want, it is excess stuff, why would I not be willing to give it away? I should be willing to give it away, but I thought I want to just have fun giving it away. So rather than hauling it off in garbage bags and boxes to the Goodwill or the Salvation Army or our local charities, I thought I'm just going to have fun with this. So I set up everything on my tables in my garage, and everyone who came to my garage sale, I gave things away. And then on the actual day of my sale, I had a sign up to say everything's $1. And so it was a big dollar store, even things that were really could have been quite valuable. And I just said, I just want to give it to you, and it's true, Cecily. And I'm so blessed because that is the heart of Jesus. And I was raised that way. We shared everything we had. And there was more than one time in my life that I watched my parents give away everything. They gave away cars, our car. They gave away our house. They gave away our clothes. They gave away our stuff. I mean, where we would go from having a huge house full of all kinds of fine furnishings to a 2-bedroom apartment with almost nothing, right? And we weren't any happier when we had everything, and we weren't any more sad when we didn't have anything. In fact, it's just a way of life because, y'all, it's not mine anyway. I'm just managing it. Just because it came to me doesn't mean that I need to consume it. Just because it came to me doesn't mean it's for me. It's for me, and it's for me to share. You've been on the receiving end. There you go. And it's just as great on the giving end. Cecily, the scripture that says it is more blessed to give than to receive. I know a lot of people are like, it's pretty cool to receive too. And it's pretty cool to be able to give too. Oh, good. I'm glad that you like listening while you're doing dishes. Thanks for that comment. Appreciate you drying your hands off so you could type that out to me. But you guys, the point is that's not supposed to be a one-time occasional thing just at Christmas or just around the holidays or just whenever you see a sad commercial or whenever the person gives you a sad sob story and they need your generosity. No, generosity is a lifestyle of sharing what we have. A lifestyle. It's a constant attitude, and it has nothing to do with money. So I've really got this on my heart. I'm going to finish talking about it more at 9 o'clock tonight. So I just love you, Cecily. I love your attitude and what God's doing in your life, because when you've got an attitude to share, guess what? He will bring people along your path that you can bless, and that is going to in turn bless you, and then you're raising your children to be generous, okay? God bless you guys, and thank you for periscoping with me, and I will be back at 9 o'clock tonight. Check out my website if you'd like to. Cecily, since your hands are free, if you could type in my website for me, I appreciate that. TrinaTitusLozano.com, and you can watch past periscopes from last week and lots of other weeks. Thanks, Aaron, for joining me. I just love having you in my periscope. Safe travels back home, and I'm glad that you were able to take Mom and Dad to the airport. But you are a generous guy, Aaron. We were raised that way. Thanks, Cecily. I appreciate that so much. So you guys can catch past periscopes on marriage, parenting, family, relationships, emotional health, all kinds of wonderful things. So it's a benefit to you whether you're married or single. You can always raise your emotional intelligence, and you need to deal with fear and anger and all sorts of stuff. So all those things are on my website. You guys check that out. God bless you and have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you at 9. Bye-bye.